If you see someone in need of help, would you help them? What if other people also saw the person in need of help? Would you still help them? Maybe not.
So this is the bystander effect. It is when an individual is less likely to help a person in need while in the presence of others, especially if the others show a passive reaction to the situation. So in bystander effect, as the number of people increases, so does the diffusion of responsibility.
This means that the more people there are, the more people there will be who can be of help in a situation, thus lessening the responsibility placed on each individual to help the person in need.
So implicit bystander effect occurs even when the situation is merely imagined by the participant. So at this point, many studies have already established the phenomenon of bystander apathy as true in many situations. This means that bystanders don't really help. This does not imply that the bystanders are not good-natured. They first weigh the possible outcomes of their actions that could result from their intervention or lack of.
In this situation, in helping, we risk facing consequences such as getting physically involved or straining our relationship with the victims or the perpetrators.
For example, in sexual assault cases specifically, women can be more motivated to help as they are more aware of such situations because they experience it themselves. But they may also avoid it to prevent themselves from being the victims of the same situation. On the other hand, one reason for helping can be the desire to be seen as good. People will be more likely to help if they believe that doing so will benefit their reputation.
Because they want to be seen as good, people will self-present. The self-presentation theory states that people will present a certain image of themselves towards others. It is aroused by the presence of others who could possess a judgment of one's behavior. People are likelier to self-present to a certain person if their succeeding interactions with this person are seen as important. They will self-present so that they will be treated kindly in their succeeding interactions. But who are these important people? Thus, this study will answer the question, can the relationship among witnesses affect the likelihood of helping? Again, the self-presentation theory states that people will present a certain image of themselves towards others, preferably a good image. People are likelier to self-present if their succeeding interactions with that person are seen as important, or to prevent the loss of that person from their lives. Furthermore, Overopen Neighbors found in 2016 that people are likelier to self-present to those they have close relationships with. Who are these people? Friends. They are those we succeedingly interact with. Therefore, we hypothesize that those who are around friends during the situation are likelier to help than those around strangers.
The experiment was conducted with these variables, the independent variable being the relationship among witnesses, and the three levels being 10 friends, 10 strangers, and no other witnesses. And the variable being measured was the likelihood of the participant to help. 3 Google Form documents were created containing the informed consent, demographic info of the participants, the instructions, the vignettes, and the questions. The experimenters used vignettes. Vignettes are hypothetical situations that recreate real-life situations without having to experience it first-handedly. The vignette in this study was about a beach vacation. There were 4 questions asked in between vignettes. 3 were filler questions and 1 was about the likelihood of helping. Only the question about the likelihood of helping was analyzed. In the study, a between subjects design was used, and for studying the data, a one-way between subjects ANOVA statistical analysis was used. After reading the consent form in lieu of a physical signature, participants typed their names and the dates signed in a text box provided. In the experiment, participants were faced with the interactive vignettes, wherein they were presented vignettes and then asked a question which they would choose their answer to. It took around 5 minutes to complete each. A total of 48 students from De La Salle University were gathered through the use of convenience sampling, with 16 participants going through each treatment.
These are the descriptors for the results of our experiment. As you can see, on a scale of likelihood, with 1 being the lowest and 6 being the highest, those who had a situation where they were alone and those with friends both had a mean score of 5.25, while those in the situation with strangers had a lower mean score of 4.31. This is its graphical representation. Results from the Between Subjects ANOVA showed that the effect of the relationship among witnesses was not significant, with a p-value of 0.062. The findings suggest that different levels of relationships among witnesses was not enough to affect the people's helping behavior. Though not significant, data still shows that those in the situation with friends were more likely to help, even just as likely as if they were alone. A past study on the topic also suggests that predictability, or the knowledge about the consistency of friends' behavior, had a significant effect on self-presentation. In other words, people already know how their friends will react, so they don't need to change their actions. The participants from our study could have also felt this way. Another study suggests that since your friends already know your traits or how you act, self-presenting might come off as arrogant or fake. Also, since the situations were presented in vignettes, they were only hypothetical. Their actual likelihood of helping if the situation happened in real life could be different from what they answered. Since vignettes present situations in non-threatening perspectives, the participants were given enough time to rethink what they should do. Future studies could figure out a way to recreate the situations in real life along with a larger sampling size for more accurate results. That is all for our presentation, and thank you for listening.